So I think the technologies will continue to change that fast, and there are new models every day. I mean, everyone is competing, and now it's the big corporations versus the open source community, so everyone is pushing and everything is changing super fast. I mean, it's not something super complicated, but from 2 days to 3 hours, it's insane. Yeah, the trends are changing every day. Compared to a year ago, it's completely different. It's very hard to catch up. So we try to move the ecosystem here in Europe because we are a bit lagging behind San Francisco and Silicon Valley.
What do you think is lacking more in the European ecosystem? What are the things that are more critical? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Data Room podcast hosted by Team-GPT. Today, we have with us Yavor Belakov, or co-founder, one of our co-founders. And we're going to have a great conversation about AI. What do we do at Team-GPT, talent, trends, and so on. So welcome, Yavor. How are you doing today?
Thanks so much for having me, Andre. It's great to meet you. Very good.
You know me already.
Yes, I've seen you sometimes. I'm very excited for our podcast today.
Awesome. Tell me a bit more of what do you do? What's your role at Team-GPT? What do you do on your day-to-day?
So I'm one of the co-founders, and I'm also on top of everything AI related. I know this is a bit vague. There's a lot of stuff going on, especially in this AI boom. Mm-hmm. I have technical background, so I'm one of the first two developers. Together with our CTO, we coded the entire product, the first version. So a lot of technical stuff going on.
Awesome. So maybe let's start with your story. Kind of where do you come from? How did you start your career? Because you've had like various different roles before you got to where you are here, from teaching assistant to software engineer to now co-founder. It's like big steps and fun stuff. How did you get started and interested in AI and overall coding and development?
Yeah, the reason I've done so many things that I didn't really know what I wanted to do back in high school. I studied maths at high school. Then I studied computer science in the university. And even before I started university, I worked with Ilya, our CEO and co-founder. For his startup, he was doing some courses, and there I was teaching assistant. So I was teaching data science back then. It wasn't that popular as it's right now, but it was a very good intro for me for data science. And this is how it sparked my interest for AI. Then I went to university, studied computer science, worked as a software developer. I worked for this company called Astea, very good company. I learned a lot of stuff there, and it inspired me to know all the cool tech, all the cool technologies, and become a very good developer. Then I worked again with Ilya and a lot of our current team members at Triveta, which is a startup again for video conferencing. And then we co-founded Team-GPT when GPT-4 came out. And
where did you start to start Team-GPT?
Well, we were working on this other project, Triveta, and when GPT-4 came out, we started trying it out. You know, we are always on top of new technologies and wanted to figure out what we can do with it. So we had to build an internal tool to collaborate. You know, everyone was trying chat-GPT, and we were constantly sending some screenshots and exports, but it was very hard to manage, especially when the team was kind of big. So I deployed this open source version of a tool, which was super basic, but we fit it to our needs to become like the collaborative internal version of Team-GPT v0. Then it turned out that many people have this problem as well. So we decided to make the product, and we productized it like for a few days, and we shipped it.
How were you able to do it that fast? That's pretty fast.
Well, I've always been the hacky boy. You know, I like building stuff quick without, making it production ready for the first moment. So I prioritized, shipping something instead of polishing it. It was very ugly in the beginning, the first version.
I've seen it.
Yeah, but it was working.
Yeah. And now we improve it, and now it's looking much cleaner.
Now it's very beautiful.
Yeah, agreed. Tell me more, like, what do you, like, from the moment, so the company started like a year and a half ago, right? What are kind of the things you've seen changing the most in the kind of what were some of the not misconceptions, but like the trends that kind of people were following big time back then, and that now like they're completely ignored? And what are the future trends that you're seeing today?
Yeah, the trends are changing every day. Compared to a year ago, it's completely different. It's very hard to catch up because today someone needs this and tomorrow they need something else. There are new technologies every day. The whole stack has changed completely. And we've got a big advantage about this because we're building a new product, so we can leverage the new technologies, all the new stacks. And if you've built a product for many, many years, you have to build on top of it. You cannot scratch it and start over. So I think the technologies will continue to change that fast. And there are new models every day. I mean, everyone is competing, and now it's the big corporations versus the open source community. So everyone is pushing and everything is changing super fast.
You touched on a cool point on models. Like, obviously we're a model agnostic platform, and you try different things every week, you personally. So what are some of the models, and we can like big corp models, open source models, what are some of the ones you're very interested in and surprised on their performance that they caught up with the bigger corporation models?
Yeah, there's so many companies doing models now. In the beginning, it was only OpenAI and chat-gpt. Then we got Anthropic, founded by ex-OpenAI people. A lot of people leave OpenAI to found their own companies and build models. Also, in the beginning, the open source models were not that good. Now everyone is also trying to push their open source models. There's some decent Chinese models, which is very interesting. Yeah, it's called QWQ. It's a competitor of O1. Which is a very decent model. Meta has released multiple open source models. They're called Llama, which are used heavily by a lot of people who need privacy and security. You can deploy them on their servers and so on. So I would say I'm very excited to see when open source models will be crushing.
You think that will happen?
I guess so, yes. This is my prediction.
By when?
It's getting too controversial. I don't know. 1 year, 2 years, 2 years.
Well, let's put a calendar reminder.
Yeah, mark it down.
Let me touch on another thing you mentioned, which is the tech stack. So for people that are curious to see how we work at Team-GPT, what's our current tech stack?
Yeah, so we are building on top of the T3 stack, which is a stack that was created by Theo. I don't know if you watch YouTubers, but Theo is one of the best ones. So it's React for the front end, it's Node.js for the back end. We use Prisma, we use Tailwind, we use Vercel AI SDK, which is one of the hottest ways to communicate with different models. All these models have different APIs, and it's very hard to build a good abstraction so you can handle all of them. And we support any model. You can hook any model to our platform, so we need an easy way to connect them. And Vercel AI SDK is the way to go.
What's your favorite IDE?
My favorite IDE? Oh, it's Cursor. I mean, everyone is using Cursor now. It's fork of VS Code, and it's AI powered. So my favorite feature inside it, it's the composer, which is basically an agent. So you've got a chat interface where you say, okay, now I want to create a new page with, let's say, a form where the user can upload a picture or something like this. And this is all you have to do. Everything else is done by this IDE Cursor. It finds the relevant code, it creates a new page, it imports the right constants, functions, etc. And at the end, you just have to click accept if you like it. If you don't like it, you can iterate on it, like in chat-gpt and so on. But it does some actions, on its own. It's very, very cool.
That's cool. I mean, it's happening in all kind of verticals, right? We also on the sales and marketing teams, we're experimenting with different platforms that will solve specific problems. So how do you see the role of the software engineer and AI engineers evolving in the next few years with so much AI and new tools coming up?
Yeah, I know it will sound a bit controversial, but I think my functions have changed slightly and now more and more. So right now, when I want to develop something new, all I do is prompting. I mean, like, probably 80% of the time I'm prompting, 10% debugging, and 10% doing code review to see if the AI has, written some code that I don't want.
Yeah.
This is a very big difference, and I made an experiment last week. If I try to create a small application just for a few hours without writing a single line of code, it's a very simple application with newsfeed and some uploading features of videos and photos, but it worked. It took me 3 hours to create this application entirely without writing a single line of code for 3 hours. Normally, it would take me like 2-3 days to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something super complicated, but from 2 days to 3 hours, it's insane.
So you essentially focus on the big stuff, strategy stuff, and you get rid of the boring, repetitive tasks that nobody likes to.
Exactly. This is what I like the most about building a product. Now I can focus on building the product, not actually about the coding. This is like becoming it's like a commodity right now.
Okay. So very soon I'll be able to.
You can. We can have a session right after this. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. So let's talk a bit about software engineers in general. Like, tell me about you. I see you spend a lot of time doing interviews and hiring and so on. What are you looking for the people that we're about 25 people now, and what 10, 15 on your product engineering team, something like that. What are you looking for?
For me, the most important thing is for the person to be a good cultural fit. I mean, we are a small startup, and we want to have like-minded people on the team. People who believe that we can build a unicorn, people who like the new technologies, who are interested in AI. They have to use AI. This is one of the questions I ask: do you use AI? And if the person says, I don't like it, red flag. So besides, of course, they need to be super highly technical and super good. I'm trying to check for this cultural fit.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, it's one of the most important things. And tell me more. I hear you guys have some tasks that you typically do, right? Tell me more about that and kind of what you typically see during the interview process.
Okay.
What are the challenges?
Yeah, so we've got this standard task, which sounds super basic to create a notification panel, but it has some hidden challenges. There's some UI, there's some product thinking, there's the deployment of the application. There are a bunch of stuff you have to do. But lately, I'm trying a different approach, and I'm trying to give the person a different task from everyone else.
Yes.
For example, we had an application for AI engineer role, and I've got one side project. It's a basic rack, and I know it's not the perfect rack because I haven't spent too much time on it. What I did is I forked my repository, sent it to the applicant, and told the guy, hey, this is my rack. Do whatever you want, improve it, spend as much time as you want, and then if the person knows all the stuff, he will find the problems and solve them.
Yeah.
So it was a cool approach. The guy liked the process.
That makes sense.
Cool, yeah.
So what we do, like on the marketing and sales side of things, is we also give them a task, and it's typically very much related to what they'll do on the day-to-day. And sometimes you give them a task, and when they join, they have to implement it.
Yeah.
So it's not like one of those boring tasks that nobody ever sees again. It's like a critical company task, like a problem we're experiencing right now. And if you join, you're going to continue what you've done throughout the process.
Exactly.
Which is pretty cool.
Like the rug, we have rugs. Yeah. So if you can't figure out the rug, then what you going to do?
Okay. Tell us about the rug solution. So tell us about what you're doing on it. I think it's quite interesting. Like we're trying external stuff. We're building our own internal stuff. What have been your findings on that?
Yeah, so rugs was it's still one of the hottest topics in the AI boom. So to get an idea how our platform works technically, we have something like an adapter, like a connector, where you can connect any rug. So we have a nice abstraction in the code base, so you can work with this rug and that rug and the customer's rug, etc. So we've been evaluating many different rugs to find the best one. We've tried many different external solutions, some of them proprietary, some of them open source. At the end, I found out that the easiest way to go about it is to build your own internal. So I'm working on this project. It's called YARP, which stands for Yavor's Advanced Rack Pipeline, which is super funny because it's also a term from the developer community, which means yet another reverse proxy.
Okay, that's cool.
I think you could do this with chat-gpt or something like this, but I like it. So we've got this YARP, which is basically a Python API, which is an external service. We connect to it using our adapter I just mentioned, and we do all the cool stuff there with parsing, chunking, etc. And we also use pgvector for the vector embeddings.
So you managed to put your name on the name of the rack. That's very impressive.
I thought it was a joke in the beginning, but it stayed, and now it's part of the stack.
I didn't know about that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Going back more to your day to day. Okay, you're working on like rack solutions. You're working on talent. You're working on overall the entire platform. What does your day to day look like at Team-GPT?
They're all different, especially now when we expanded the team. For example, I had to onboard 8 people. So this was like a full-time job, onboarding these new people. I had to document some stuff, show them new stuff, do code reviews, explain some stuff to them related to our processes and stuff like this. Now they are all very well onboarded and fully performing. But my main goal is to build these POCs, which stands for proof of concepts. Well, let's say we want to do integrations. You like the integrations.
Yes.
So now I have to find out how to integrate them. Technically there are some challenges. Document it, scope it, and then we can engage more people to join this effort and close the task. But I'm trying to figure out these innovative solutions and POCs and do the first step towards new innovation.
So it's like research. So you built a team, and now research and innovation and new stuff is what you're.
Yes, I'm focused on research mainly.
What are the trends when you think about Team-GPT? The trends that are coming up in research. How's your vision coming together for that? Kind of what are kind of when you see our current platform, our current company, and everything that's coming through that's new. How do you see them being integrated into the platform?
Yeah, well, my predictions, of course, these are predictions because we never know what's going to happen. But what I expect is to have more and more actions automated. So let's say you want to create an article.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that in our future version of the product, you can just go there and say what you want to write about. And then you go check the platform in like 15 minutes, half an hour, doesn't matter. And you have 3 different variations of the article, and then you just click one button, it's on the blog. So I guess we're going to go towards these actions where your input is minimal and you just have to approve. Like the one I mentioned in Cursor.
Yeah.
What I do is prompt and approve. I think this is going to be the next UX for using AI.
Okay.
Prompt and approve.
Prompt and approve. Sounds like a good name for the
P&A.
podcast.
P&A. Yeah, P&A.
YARP P&A. That's very cool. Tell me, well, besides your full-time job here, you also are the founder of AI Engineer Foundation in Europe. Can you tell me what does that mean?
So we go to San Francisco every year. We spend some time there, and there are so many AI events there. One of the hosts of these events is Sasha. She's a girl from San Francisco, and we met at one of her events. So I was so inspired that I decided to do the same here. And then she asked me if I wanted to found a European chapter of her community, which is one of the biggest AI communities in San Francisco. So we started doing these events here in Europe. We've got a very big community with more than 1,000 members.
Mm-hmm.
And we do more than 50 events every year. We've got a networking event every week. We've got bigger events, small conferences. We had the hackathon, you know about it. So we try to move the ecosystem here in Europe because we are a bit lagging behind San Francisco and Silicon Valley. So we want to push it.
What do you think is lacking more in the European ecosystem? Like, you spend a lot of time in San Francisco. What are the things that are more critical to you?
Well, San Francisco is an insane place. There are so many capable people there, and everyone wants to go there. It's so dense in terms of VC money, tech people, technology, startups. Everything is there, and if you want to build something really really cool, you either have to be there or go there, every a few months. I think this is the main reason. Everyone just goes there because everything is tech.
Yeah, I think people also talk a lot about the kind of bureaucracy legislation. It's so more complex over here, and
oh yeah, there was this meme. USA leads in AI, Europe leads in AI regulation.
Yeah, which is like bureaucracy. Oh well, let's see. And even now, like with the getting into, I don't know, Elon Musk in the part of the Dodge function on the government, I think it'll probably even accelerate that further.
For sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure now they're going to accelerate. Yeah, more and more cities have these autonomous taxis. They're called Waymo. There are other companies. So there's so many liberal cities that they allow it now in the States.
Yeah, crazy. Well, that's really cool. I've been part of the hackathon, as you said, so really looking forward to the next one. So
on Thursday.
No, but on Thursday is an event, right?
Yeah.
We should probably start doing them all over Europe, like choosing different cities. We can do one in Lisbon next when you come over to visit, and like starting to select other cities would be pretty cool.
We'll be co-hosting one in London soon.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about that. You're giving me so many news.
I can invite you.
You can?
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. What should we talk about now? Do you have any questions for me?
So I have one question for you. How many times have you been here with us in Team-GPT? No, in Team-GPT. When did you join?
July.
It's now 6 months? More?
No, it's just 6 months now.
Okay. And what do you think is next for Team-GPT? You have enough context now. You spent 6 months. What are you most excited about?
I think the next few months are going to be very cool. Like, as you know, you've dealt with a migration of entire code base, which is a very daunting task. And now we're getting into, we've fixed the problems we had in terms of infrastructure, and now we're going into this innovation mode that's going to be very fast-paced. So I'm excited about the ambition of just making a very good platform for large organizations, for mid-sized organizations to be able to collaborate in an AI environment with a team-first AI environment where they essentially can be augmented and become more productive. And like you said, prompt and approve. I think if we get to that place in terms of our own platform, I think we'll get there with some of the things we're doing on tools and pages and a lot of the new functionality. So I'm excited seeing the innovation like come to life at a very fast pace. And even the next couple of weeks will be massive with a lot of changes on projects and a few other cool things we're doing. So I think innovation is one. The other one is team. Like we're now in a place where the team has grown a bit. So seeing the new colleagues joining, everyone performing at a high level, I'm excited about that. So I think that it has changed a lot, right? It started. I think we were 10 when I came, right?
Yeah.
And
we've doubled.
Yeah, we met in August. So I think we've more than doubled. And yeah, so many different teams, different countries, different cultures. So I'm excited to see everyone grow and step up in their roles, and this year is going to be a big one.
We talked about different trends, how they change and stuff, and you are one of the people who speaks the most with customers, potential customers, and so on. What are the most requested stuff? What people care about right now? What they ask for? What are your insights?
So I have many areas for this, many areas to go into, but maybe I'll focus on just two. One is just the security aspect of it, and people want to have this, their life made easier at work. But sometimes these large and enterprise mid-market companies are not comfortable with solutions. So one is ensuring privacy and security, which we do. The other, and if we talk about feature specific, it's kind of almost contradicting to the first one, which is I want to connect all my data to this platform. So it's like one hand is like I want it to be super safe. The other hand is like I want all tools like from HubSpot, Salesforce, email, Jira, Confluence, well, you name it, Slack, Notion, etc. Like when you think about these tools, people won't have an experience where the data is connected right away. So I'm curious and excited about what's coming to our platform on that regard. But merging these two is very hard, right? And we're making it happen. So I'm excited about.
Yeah, there's so many softwares that you can integrate it. Yeah.
Very good. So tell me more. Like you started this company. I want to touch on a more your own personal journey and personal growth, right? You started this company about a year and a half ago. And what have been your two questions on this? What's been your biggest technical challenge? And the second one is your biggest kind of level of personal growth. Where have you been growing the most as a human being in a fast-growing startup?
Yeah, so the biggest technical challenge, we are always joking about this migration. So we've got this first product, which I told you we coded with Yuko together, only just two of us. And then we got the new product, which is suitable for enterprises, is super compliant, super secure, etc. And we had to migrate 50,000 users from the first version to the second version. But the databases were different. We used MongoDB, then we used Postgre. We also had different abstractions in V1 compared to V2. So this migration was very, very hard to do because there's so much data, so many users, so many organizations, and so on. It took me a few months to figure it out. We are deprecating V1, I think, tomorrow.
15.
Tomorrow we close V1 and we can say that V1 is dead and we've completed the migration, but this is definitely the hardest challenge I've ever.
What would you do differently on the next one? If you hopefully you don't have to do one ever again, but what would you do differently in the future if you were to do a migration again?
The AI space is changing so fast that I guess we'll have to do a rewrite in a few years.
Yeah.
So what I would do differently, I don't know yet. I mean, for now, I think everything we've done is correct and everything is good, but some assumptions might fail in the future, you know.
Yeah, okay.
We have to see. And on the second question, I think one of my biggest realizations is that if you want to build a unicorn, if you want to build the best product that top world-class companies will use, you have to spend time in San Francisco. For me, this is the biggest realization I had in the past year. Yeah.
That's why you're being sent there.
Yes, soon.
That's funny.
But I want to go. Send doesn't sound like
no. Send
pressured.
Forced.
Yeah.
No, it's not forced. It's voluntary.
Yeah.
So I want to go back before we wrap up to an important point. We're talking about AI security and integrations, and how are they kind of contradict themselves, right? Because one, people want the safest platform. Two, they want access to their knowledge. You've worked on multiple deployments of AI software on big companies. Kind of, how do you ensure, and how do we ensure at Team-GPT that the AI can be deployed in a safe way?
Yeah, so big companies care really about security, privacy, and all the stuff like this. So we spent quite some time figuring out how to do it, you know, in the best, more secure way. So what we do is we deploy on premise for different organizations. We deploy on clouds like Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, you know, all the big clouds. And what we do is a separate deployment within a separate account, and then we give access to the organization so they can monitor and see all the data is within them. No one else transfer their data or has access or everything like this. So people usually have a technical person on their end who validates everything is deployed safely within their environment and so on. And we also have a bunch of security features like multi-factor authentication and so on. So everything stays super safe.
what do you see as the most requested, on the security side of things, the most requested, not features, but requests? Like you're talking, that's one, but like SSO, like other stuff that come often.
SSO is one of the most common because let's say a company uses Microsoft Azure, they want to log in with Microsoft, they want to map their Entra AD organizations to workspaces and all the stuff like this usually enterprise use. Then we've got Google login. They really care about their data, so they want their data to be in their accounts. So what we do is, as I said, we have their database within their account, so they have full access to it and see that no one else has access. They also care who they send their data to. So many companies don't want their data to be sent to OpenAI because they see we don't want our data to be accessed by external people. So what we can do for them is deploy an open source model within their environment, so they can connect Team-GPT to their model, and then the data stays fully private and safe.
Okay. And how does it compare, like you're talking about chat-gpt and Claude, for example, how does that compare, like if I go on their website, for example, and sign up?
Yeah, if you go to OpenAI and send some messages to the chat, this data goes to OpenAI and then they store it. If you, for example, deploy an open source model, let's say on AWS Bedrock or on-premise or whatever, the data never reaches any third party and it stays fully private, fully secure. Many people go for the Azure OpenAI service, which is deploying chat-GPT models within Azure. So the data never reaches OpenAI, but they're fine with sharing information with Microsoft as they're fully integrated already. Google has this, it's called Vertex, AWS has Bedrock. So there's a solution for every cloud.
Okay. How long does it take for us to deploy such, let's see, automatic?
Automatic, yes.
Amazing.
If you want a deployment, I can do it right now for you.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Just let me know the domain name.
Okay, let's call it YARP.
Sure.
All right, last question. If you like think about someone that's looking to get started in AI right now, and you as an AI engineer, what advice would you give?
Yeah, so about AI, I think the most important thing is to catch up daily on everything new. So if you're not on top of all the new stuff, you have no chance. I don't have a lot of free time, but before bed, what I do is listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, read some blogs. I've subscribed to a few newsletters. So at the end of the day, I'm on top of everything that has happened today. I also do these events where I meet so many people and everyone is, everyone knows something. And when I talk to 50 people, I know everything. So I think this is the most important thing. And more general advice is to find a mentor. I've got many mentors and I'm so thankful. I think this is one of the most important things when you're young, especially.
Awesome. Yavor, thanks so much for joining us on the Data Room podcast today. It was really cool. Get to know more about you, about Team-GPT, AI Engineer Foundation, and general AI trends on safety and so on. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much. I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Let's go. Thanks.